celebrations at the flagship campus of the Bay State's largest public university. UMass Amherst newly inaugurated chancellor had to combat more than bright lights on stage during his inauguration. Welcome everyone to Western Mass News at 6 on this Friday evening. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Abby Carnevale. Members of the audience also chiming in to express their concerns with how the university is handling the current Israel-Hamas war. Western Mass News reporter Wesley Days is live on campus tonight with more. Wesley, Governor Maura Healey had to pause her remarks.
She did, Abby and Chris, and you guys will see that in just a few moments. Now, the Mullen Center was full of people and some protesters actually hidden in the mix. And while they were dealing with those situations, there was also the current conflict that was being discussed about a lot during that conversation and during that inauguration. Take a look for yourself. Some left in celebration. Others were forced out for screaming their concerns.
We claim to be a revolutionary university. Our slogan is be revolutionary, all this stuff. And it's crazy to me how we can say that with a straight face.
Newly inaugurated UMass Amherst Chancellor Javier Reyes took his oath of office as some of his students and colleagues left the Mullen Center in support of Palestinians in Gaza caught up in the current Israel-Hamas war. But there's more.
We do not want to see the students inordinately punished in ways that are really unprecedented, not consistent with previous disciplinary actions. So we want the charges dropped.
This history professor started the day on the front lines of Reyes' inauguration and ended on the front lines of the protest outside.
I want the chancellor to know that the students are not alone in wanting to see the university move away from military research and to divest from the military-industrial complex.
Those protests brought several to a pause, from Chancellor Reyes.
Thank you very much.
To UMass President Marty Meehan.
Working together.
Governor Maura Healey also stopped her speech.
To bring you
At one point, UMass officials even intervened.
Although the University of Massachusetts, UMass supports the rights to free speech and expression, please, this does not, however, extend to disruptive behaviors.
Even with all the dissents, Reyes didn't shy away from addressing the topic of free speech head on.
I stand before you today to reaffirm our campus commitment to academic freedom and freedom of expressions in all its forms. We must also instill in our community, faculty, students, and staff that while we may not always agree, the power of persuasion lies on not being the loudest and most disruptive, but in making the strongest case through civil dialogue grounded in facts, logic, and reason.
As you can tell, that mic on stage was no match for those protesters, the people, and their movement. Also tonight, we're hearing from University of Massachusetts Amherst officials and a spokesperson with the university. They sent a statement into our newsroom that reads in part, UMass Amherst stands firmly by the rights of its students, staff, and faculty to exercise their right to free speech under the university's founding values and the protections provided to them under the First Amendment. As shared with demonstrators during today's ceremony, free speech rights do not extend to disruptive behavior that conflicts with the rights of others in attendance to take part in the program, whether as speakers or guests. The demonstrators were asked to leave, and they did so peacefully. We should also mention that on top of those protesters discussing the conflict overseas at this hour, there were also people protesting the use of animals in experiments right here on campus. Reporting live on campus here at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, Wesley Days, Western Mass News.